Okay, so shot one is mostly finished. And I could totally open up an entirely new Harmony file to start shot two. But instead, I'm going to try to see if I can use most of the stuff I have here and sort of recreate a slightly different setup for this and sort of generate an entirely new look using all these same assets. Right? And so we'll talk about that but I've extended my timeline out. And so right here, I'm just going to make sure everything has a keyframe on it all the way across the board. I'm just going to go ahead and hit F6 on every channel I have. And then on 90, I'm going to do the same. And so what I'm going to do is between frame 82 and 90, I'm going to move all of these assets around to make it look like we're looking at this entire scene from a different angle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I actually don't need this version of Winslow anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and move Winslow out of our scene entirely. So we're going to go alien character. Thanks for your service, Winslow. You are now over here. And we don't actually have to do that. If I can do that, but I can also go in here and for all of the drawings of Winslow, if we don't want to see him, I could actually just like get rid of those drawings. So I'll show you what I mean. If I unlock my, let's do it on his body so you can see it a little bit better. His body node right here, right? Unlock that. I can basically just delete all of these drawings, and now Winslow's body isn't there anymore. So I mean, he could have stayed on frame, but there's nothing to render, right? So, and you'll see that at that point, he just kind of cuts off, right? So that's another way we could get rid of him. I'm just kind of pushing him off frame because, I may change my mind. I may want him back for something. So what I want this to look like is that our camera has swung around 90 degrees, and now our spaceship is going to be over here, right? And our box with our arm is going to be over here, and then Winslow is going to be jumping toward the spaceship, right? So let's go ahead and just move the spaceship first. I can take the spaceship here, slide it across to here, and yeah, we're getting going behind some rocks here, so let's tumble around. Probably going to move that forward a touch more. Yeah, kind of like that. Same with the box and the crate and the arm. I'm just going to grab both of those, move those over. Let's do it one at a time. Move this over this way. Oh, that's interesting. It's where I rotated it. Okay, that makes sense. I did what I wanted to decide where my arm is first. So I'm going to go ahead and move my arm in my perspective view and get it to where I want it. So it'll be like here, and then tumble around here on my arm. Move it way back here and over here. So now that I have him back here, I'm going to just repose him. I'll repose this arm, and the easiest thing for that is just going to be reposition this claw, be facing this direction, and go ahead and adjust some of these arm poses. There we go. And then let's try to get our crate over there to align with it. So this will be a little harder, but shouldn't be terrible. There we go. I'm trying to find it 3D space. There we go. And I want to, although that works, and this is probably going to scoot this a little closer and scoot my arm just a little closer. So although that works, I want to make this feel like we're a little further away. So I'm actually going to scale both of those down just a little bit. And so scaling down the arm a little bit, and I'm going to scale down the crate just a little bit. And honestly, I think it's probably the ship is not actually to scale in how I drew it in the first shot. So really, I probably should scoot the entire camera back and do some stuff like that to make all of this to scale. Instead, this just makes more sense to me. These bananas, I guess I could. Oh, what have I done there? Oh, I'm moving the banana and the shadow. I'll have to move the peg along with that. I'll be honest, I don't know that I necessarily need these bananas in this next shot. Like they'll kind of just make them hidden behind some stuff here. So what I'm probably going to do is just go ahead and delete that, all the banana delete. And so they just disappear on that frame. And then the biggest thing is like, between these two, like everything's arranged differently, but that background is exactly the same. So let's go down here and find our stars peg. It's locked right now. And I think unlocking that will allow us to make some interesting changes. Now, I don't necessarily want my stars in the background to be like exactly in the same spot, right? Because even if I change everything, if the stars are all exactly in the same spot, that'll be another giveaway, right? So I'm going to uncheck a lot of this stuff, and I'm just going to rearrange my environment to just look like a different environment. And I think the first thing I want to do with that is my stars. None of these have keyframes on them because they were locked earlier. So let's just go down through here, including this peg here. I'm going to hit F6 there, and then F6 there. And so now, in here, sorry, missed that one. So now I can change these things and just have a different setup for them. And so I want to just move my stars a little bit and scale them, maybe just a different scale. If I really wanted to, I could just rotate it all the way around, not like that, but rotate it all the way around 90 degrees or something. But I just really want, like, when we jump from one cut to the other, if all of the stars are in the same spot, then it's going to sort of ruin that illusion. And so now what I should get, still maybe not enough. Maybe I need to do a whole rotation on this maybe. So let's grab that, rotate this, and I'm just going to, my rotation angle, can I do it just on this axis? I can. I do that roughly 180 degrees here. Just type in 180. There we go. And let's see if that is still noticeably the same. Yeah, looks like a completely different sky, right? I'm going to help this a little bit too by putting a planet up here in a bit, probably like Saturn or something like that. Just some additional things in the sky to make this look like a different sky. Actually, I could probably also scooch it this way. What's that look like if I do that now from there to there? Yeah. So we're starting to look like a completely different environment, right? And you'll see it if we frame it. Click off of this here. So we're trying to look like a different shot entirely. And so one of the things I'm going to do for that is also sort of mess up our ground plane here a little bit. So one of the things I could do with the ground plane if I wanted to is so the same thing I just did, rotate this around 90 degrees. So let's just do this one like 90. And then I'm going to change my scale axis to be a little wider, something like this. Yeah, how does that look? So again, if I select out of this, it's like two totally different angles now, right? Okay, so a couple of the other pieces that we need to change now are some of these background rocks and these lumpy pieces. Right, if I just have my everything selected, I can move these around however I want to. So I'm just going to rearrange these in my next shot, and I'm going to apply a moon in here. And really what I hope is that means that we would render up to frame 82 for shot 1, and then we'll start rendering on frame 90 for shot 2, and it'll just look like we're in a completely different environment, but we really have just moved everything around, right? All right, so when I come back, hopefully I'll have my environment set up so we can start animating.